Homemade bread is best, much better than any bread you buy. And although it might look like hard work, I'm going to show you how to make a delicious, wholesome loaf with just a few ingredients. Hello, I'm Emilia Breadman, and welcome to Simply Kitchen. Today's recipe is a staple in any Irish household and was passed down to me by my own grandmother. We're going to be making a traditional Irish soda bread. So let's get started. Now first things first, we must assemble all our ingredients to ensure they're right at hand when we need them. For this recipe I use about 15 ounces of cream plain flour, 11 ounces of wholemeal flour, but depending on how brown you like your bread, you can change these as you choose. 2 teaspoons of table salt for taste and texture, a heaped teaspoon of baking soda, a little bit of oil, sunflower or vegetable, nothing with a strong flavour, and about 500 millilitres of buttermilk. Now this works with the baking soda to create that lovely fluffy texture that you know and love. And when all your ingredients are assembled, you can line 2 2-pound loaf tins. Here's some I did earlier, like so, and preheat your oven to about 200 degrees Celsius. Now, it's time for the real fun. Let's get baking. Now to make our bread, we start with our dry ingredients. So first of all, our cream plain flour. Then our wholemeal flour, two teaspoons of salt, 1 and 2, and a teaspoon of baking soda. Now an old trick my grandmother taught me was to place the baking soda in the palm of one hand, like so, and work out the lumps with the thumb of the other, like this. This ensures nobody gets a nasty lump of baking soda in their slice of bread. When all your dry ingredients are in the bowl, make sure to mix them around like this. And I usually create a little well in the centre like this to pop in our liquids. So we add a little bit of oil and a lot of buttermilk. Make sure to keep the buttermilk right at hand just in case you need any more. And we mix together our bread like this. As you can see, it's still a little bit dry, so I'm going to add a little bit more. It's always best to have your bread wetter than dry. If your bread is too wet, don't fret. You can always do what we call the drop method into your tins. Now you can see your bread is starting to come together a bit more in the bowl, like this. And now it's time to place it out onto a floured board to knead. Now when you're ready to knead your bread, you should flour a table or a board like so. Your hands to keep them nice and dry, and if necessary your dough as well. We're going to place ours out onto the table. Put our bowl aside for a moment. And now it's time to knead. To knead your bread, use this edge of your hand there. Using that part of your hand, you pull the dough up and in from its edges, like so. Ensure to keep turning your bread to get all the edges into the centre, and absolutely vital to keep your hands as light as possible. If you're heavy-handed with your bread, it will turn out very dense and a little bit hard to eat. flip it over. It's quite alright if you're not this fast yet. I've been doing this quite a long time. When you have a nice neat ball like this, it's time to put it into our loaf tins. So we cut it down the middle, like this. And these are our 2 loaves. Now, one in like this, and the second in as well. Another simple trick is to use this end of your hand and very lightly, again, keep your hands as light as possible, just gently press the dough into the tin to ensure that it fills your loaf tin and you have a nice full loaf of bread, like that. We cut a little bit of a cross through our breads like this. And now they're ready for the oven. And we cook these at 200 degrees for about 45 minutes. Tap lightly on the top of the bread